All right, awesome. Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. My name is Allie Day, and I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus, actually just ranked in May. So I haven't even been here for a month. So it's been fun. It's been exciting, very surreal, very crazy, but in a great way. I feel very blessed. And I'm just so excited to be here with you guys tonight, just to share, just to chat a little bit. I'll tell you all a little bit about me, just so you kind of know who I am, and hopefully that makes just whatever I share, whatever's kind of on my heart, seem more coming from like a normal person. So I joined Plexus almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in July, and I was one of the wholesalers that did not want anything to do with the business. I was that person. My best friend was telling me about the products, telling me about the opportunity, and I wasn't interested at all. Actually, I was definitely a skeptic about the products. She finally convinced me to at least try the products. And when I say convinced, I mean she gave me products and was like, "You better try these." I wouldn't even purchase them. And so tried them out for about 4 days, and I was like, "All right, I'm having energy. I'm feeling good." So decided to go ahead and jump on as an ambassador because I just wanted the discount. And I loved the products from the beginning, but I spent about 5 months as a wholesaler. I really didn't want to promote anything. I wasn't looking for a business. I thought the idea of posting on Facebook every day was annoying and obnoxious. I was that person. So if you have people like that on your team, there is hope. But I just really didn't feel like, I just didn't feel it on my heart. I really didn't feel it on my heart to share, as weird as that is to say now. But so signed up in July, and then by December, I felt very almost convicted to start sharing with people, because I was somebody who had struggled a whole lot, struggled for many, many years with anxiety and even some depression. A lot of my anxiety is socially related, and the probiotic is amazing. That gut health really helped change my overall health and demeanor, and I got my gut healthy, and I just realized how important gut health was. And so I just felt very convicted to start telling people, because if you know anybody who has anxiety or depression, or you're someone who struggles with that, you know that it's something that people don't talk about a whole lot. It's something that's very hush-hush. It's people feel a lot of shame a lot of times when they have any kind of mental illness and difficulty, like that. And so I felt God really put it on my heart to start telling people, because I genuinely wanted to help. And from there, I just feel like my business just started growing. I started just realizing the importance of vulnerability, of being bold, of being honest and open, and just very, I guess the word really is just vulnerable with people, and people, my audience, responded very well to it. A lot of them were shocked to even know that was a struggle that I had. And so it was just a really, really amazing time in my life, a way for me to minister to people, for me to just really show them how important gut health is, but also how the journey with the Lord is really important too. And so I just really feel like my business has been very blessed, because I've had God in every step of it the whole way. And let's see. So I really started working my business in January. So I started kind of telling people about Plexus, but not really with the intention of working a business in December. And then that in January, so January 2015 is when I was like, okay, I need to probably figure out what I'm doing, because people want to do this, and I have no idea how to help them. I don't know what I'm doing. And so that was when I really started working my business. And from there, it just kind of snowballed, and it's been really, really amazing. So your awesome leader, Amy, asked me to hop on and to just talk about whatever was on my heart. And so I sat down, thought about it, prayed about it, and just really kind of was thinking about, what would be the main things I'd ever want to say to someone who's already a part of the business, who already knows how amazing these products are, who sees the opportunity. I feel like the things that come to mind have a lot to do with fear. Because of the struggles that I had, I really was worried about what other people thought of me. And that prevented me from, I feel like, moving forward in my business, especially in the beginning, as much as I could have. I feel like I was very nervous about, well, what are they going to think about all these posts on Facebook? Or what are they going to think if I keep following up with them? What are they going to, they think I just want their money? Like, I was very concerned with what other people think. And so I guess, my tip or my advice would be that goes along with that. If you're someone who's struggling with what other people think, or even what other people have said, because I know sometimes people can be pretty ugly. They can say hurtful things about what you're doing. I feel that it's really important to realize that, or to kind of tell yourself that those things are not true. And I know I'm big with affirmations, and I know this isn't necessarily an affirmation, but this is kind of what I tell my team. If there's something someone has said to you, or that you think about yourself, or you worry about doing, like, oh, I'm worried that they're going to just think I'm trying to sell them something. I tell my team, I'm like, okay, so are you trying to just sell them something? Well, no, and so saying, okay, I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. I genuinely care about their health. I genuinely care about their life, and I want to help them. And making that like your mantra, kind of saying that to yourself and reminding yourself that that is, the truth. That's the truth. I feel too that boldness goes a long way. And so sometimes we think certain things and we're like, gosh, I wish I could say that. I want to challenge you to say those things. So for example, when someone says, if they do say, in fact, if it's not something you're just afraid of, but somebody actually says, you're just trying to sell something, I really want to challenge you. Sorry, my dogs, of course, are going to come in here and start like squeaking their toys. I really want to challenge you to say, like, no, that's really actually not the case at all. Why I do this, and you tell them, right? And facing that, those accusations, facing those fears is really, really important in my opinion. I feel like so much of what we do has to do with mindset. So if you can change your mindset, you can do this. Most of the time, I feel like probably 90% of the time, we are our own object or challenge that's holding us back. It's not the people that we know. It's not that people won't sign up with us. It's not that they, people don't want to be customers. It's that we aren't taking action in some form or fashion. So I also want to talk a little bit about that. I want to talk about taking action. If you are not someone who is reaching out to people on a daily basis, like I'm saying Monday through Friday, I know we, preach time freedom. So I'm just specifically talking about Monday through Friday. If you're not somebody who's reaching out to folks every day, you need to start doing that. I'm just going to be honest and bold with you here. You need to start doing that. Posting on Facebook is not enough. When you're posting on Facebook, it's a great opportunity, obviously, to put that information out there. Sorry, they're just going to keep on playing in here. But that's a great opportunity to put that information out there, and I absolutely think you need to be posting. But I also think contacting is huge. So what do I mean by contacting? I mean sending someone a message saying, hey, I saw your post on Facebook about how exhausted you are, and it's on my heart to tell you, like, this doesn't have to be your life anymore. I used to be exhausted. I used to feel run down like you're describing, and that is not how we want to live life, right? Plexus can help you. Do you have 5 minutes where I can just share a little bit more information with you? Like just presenting the option of Plexus with folks. It could be even just someone, maybe they didn't post anything on Facebook, but you just know they really struggle with pain, or they struggle with overeating, or they have diabetes, right? Or someone who really struggles financially, right? This opportunity could help anyone. I don't care how wealthy they are or how little money they have. If they have little money, I guarantee you they're very particular with how they spend their money. So it's you want to present it to them because it's a great investment. It's $35 to start a business, right? If somebody's very wealthy, and they love their job even, right? I will tell you, I feel like even people who have a lot of wealth still want ways to invest their money and to earn more because they're probably very smart with their money as well, right? So they want to be able to invest it in other ways. So we don't want to put people in a box. We want to message people. I try to challenge my team 3 to 5 people a day. And I know that's a lot. So if this is something that's brand new to you, I would say do it at least one person a day, right? And I always tell my team to lead with the business. And so what that looks like for us, is you have to write a business story. And I feel like this is awesome for talking in person too. And I know about you guys on my team, they're always like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to talk to strangers. This is terrifying. So I feel like this is great for these messages, but also really great for that personal conversation with folks. So you're making a business story. Do you guys, Amy, do y'all already have like the business story template?
I don't, no.
Okay, so great. This is awesome. This is actually a Leslie Zan thing, and so it's not me. I did not make this up at all. And it's fabulous. I love it. So what it is, and she would tell you, get a pen, right? You need to write this down. That's what she says in her trainings. You better get a pen out. But what you do is you will share what your job is or was, if you've quit your job since Plexus or whatever, and how long you've been doing it. And this can work for stay-at-home moms. This can work for someone who's retired. This can work for anybody. You just kind of have to tweak it to match you. So I'll use me, for example. I was a teacher for 3 years. So that's it. I taught elementary school for 3 years, whatever. I say it, what I did and for how long. Then you're supposed to say what you really enjoyed about it, what you loved about it, and then what you didn't like about it. So for me, I was a teacher. I was an elementary school teacher for 3 years. I really loved the interactions with the kids. I loved getting to teach them something that they'd never learned before and watch them try it and watch them do it and then have those aha moments. Is very rewarding. What I didn't like is the pressure from the state. I live in Texas, and a lot of state pressure. Worked in Title I schools, very low income. And I spent a lot of time away from home, and already being someone who struggles with anxiety and stress, that job really hurt my mental health. And so that's that part. Okay, so then the next thing that you're sharing your business story is what your Plexus business will allow or has allowed so far, right? So mine would be, after I say, my job, really, whatever. Y'all just heard what I said, the mental struggle, the time commitment, time away from family. My Plexus business has allowed me to still teach and to see aha moments within folks, but on my own time schedule. And I get to decide when and how my schedule, what my schedule looks like. I get to devote more time to family, and my mental health has improved so much. Right? So it's supposed to be like an elevator speech. So it's supposed to be very compact. You're supposed to practice it. She said to say it in the mirror, or even do like a Zoom call of yourself, because you can record it and then just play it back to watch it and just see like, what do I look like? What do I sound like? Do I sound passionate? Do I, really practice that to where you're very, it comes across very smooth, very bold, very, very passionate. But this is what I teach my team to put in their messages to people. So what they would do, let's say I personally have someone on my list who's big about making that list, and I remake the list all the time. I'm constantly adding people to the list as I meet them, as I friend them on Facebook. So what I do is, if I know, I'll use one of, actually, I just pulled contact to somebody last week who's a teacher that I used to work with a few years ago. She just had a brand new baby. And I know that she's exhausted, because with a brand new baby isn't, right? So I messaged her. I was like, hey girl, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I love looking at your photos. I love seeing your little girl. You have to be just the best mom out there. But you've been on my heart. I have to be honest with you. I know you probably see my Plexus posts. And I'm sure you've seen that Plexus really provides a lot of energy. But one of my good friends just had a baby just like you, and she was exhausted. And you know what? She started taking Plexus, and she's loved it. So I really thought of you. But I also have to tell you that, and then I go in with my business story. Like, I was a teacher, right? We taught together. And I personalize it because she knows me a little bit better, right? But I tell her the same things, right? I loved about teaching this, and this. What I didn't like was this. But my Plexus business has allowed this. And I remember you telling me you want to be a stay-at-home mom. This opportunity could allow that for you. And I couldn't not tell you. And then I'm like, do you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes where we could maybe chat and I could just share a little bit more? Are you willing? And I just say, if not, that's fine too. Hope you have a great evening. I look forward to, seeing, or talking to you later, whatever kind of situation it is. And so I know it sounds like a really long message, but you kind of learn how to streamline it. And I actually have recently switched over to doing voice messages, like sending that as a voice message. And you guys, the responses have been so much better, because people, like, passion is contagious, right? And so they hear it and they're like, wow, like I can hear in her voice that this is a big deal to her. This has been really exciting. And I can hear that, like, I really sound like I'm on her heart. And so I feel like that's a really great way. I'll tell y'all a trick, because I had one of my ambassadors was like, so I'm nervous to, like, I want to be able to play it back before I send it to someone, because, like, what if I, like, cough or, like, sneeze or, you know, say something silly? What do I do? So what I started doing, and I told them to do, is you can send yourself, you know, on your phone or whatever, you can send yourself a voice memo, and then you can forward it. And so you don't, it's not like you have to record it again. So I'll sit there and I'll kind of go through it and be like, you know, hey, whatever, da, 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 and I play it back to myself and I make sure it all sounds good. And then you click the forward button, you click the person's name, and it goes to them. And so that's a good way to kind of, like, if you're a little bit nervous about stuff like that, play it back to yourself and then forward it to them. They don't know it's forwarded. They don't know that it's been forwarded. So that's kind of a cool feature on Facebook, the voice memos. So I have, like, a couple other things. So the contacting, I will tell you too, I'll just be pretty vulnerable with you. You guys, that changed my business personally. Like, even forget my team for a second. When I started contacting people, I got decent responses for my posting. When I started contacting people, I started intentionally reaching out to people that I already knew and people that have been on my friends list forever. It really made a difference. Now, I will say that there are some people that I feel like you really need to lead with a relationship first. You kind of have to feel it out. I think we kind of have this intuition where we kind of know, okay, I feel like this person can handle me messaging them straight about Plexus and just being really, you know, honest and, you know, vulnerable with them. But then there's some people that you might not know as well, or maybe they're a new friend, new person in your life, or just someone who's just, you know, has a different, just, you know, they're not going to take it maybe the way that you feel like they should, or you want them to take it. And so definitely lead with a relationship in those scenarios. And I was told by one of my Ruby ambassadors that or maybe it was one of the gold, I don't know. Some of you guys might have been at some of these sessions, so I'm not sure which one. I don't remember. But one of the convention sessions, one of the diamonds during the breakout was saying that there's two options for how, like, I guess, deciding how to reach out to someone or how to, you know, build that rapport with them. And so if it's someone you're going to see regularly, friend, family member, new person in your life, you know, like a sister-in-law or something, you know, somebody that you're going to be going in the same Bible class with, whatever, someone you're going to keep seeing, you need to lead with the relationship, because Plexus is going to come up naturally with that person. If it's your waiter at the restaurant, if it's the checker at Target, if it's, you know, someone that you're out and about, and chances are, you know, you're at the park and a family comes up and you start talking with them, chances are you might not see them again. You don't know if you will. Lead with the opportunity. Lead with Plexus and say, you know, just be like, you've been so great. You've been so personable. And I own a business. I have these amazing people on my team, and I feel like you've fit in so great with us, right? Lead with that, because you might, I mean, if that's your only chance ever to share this amazing opportunity that we have, you got to take it. The other thing too is I always try to add people on Facebook. I just flat out say, like, do you have Facebook? I'd love to be able to, like, keep up. You were so fun to talk to. You know, if I'm able to bring up Plexus naturally, I'll say, you know, I'd love to send you a sample. I need to get your, you know, I'll have to get your address through that. And so I try to just keep it very casual. I try not to, you know, throw up Plexus, as you say, on people. But I feel like if I can get them on my Facebook, then I have a way to follow up with them, but they also have this way to see what I'm doing and why I'm this crazy Plexus lady. The other tip I want to give you is, if you're adding people on Facebook, what I do is I like to say, oh, do you have Facebook? I'd love to keep up with you. I'd love to chat more with you. I hand them my phone. I literally click the search bar and I'm like, here, type in your name. Then when they do, and they, you know, either they click add friend or I do it, I screenshot it real quick, because I just met them. Chances are, like, I'm telling y'all, I'm not really good with names to begin with, but chances are I'm going to go do some other things today before I go home. I don't want to forget what their name was, right? And so I screenshot it, and then I have them, you know, in my little photo album to go back and be like, oh, okay, that was their name, and I, you know, go ahead and put them on my follow-up list. And so that's been really helpful too, keeping up with folks to add to my list as well. Let me see. Oh, I know what I was like, kind of like sidetracked for a moment. But it was really big for me in my business, my personal recruiting. And then when I was able to share it with my team, I'm kind of someone, I think it's the teacher in me, but I feel like I kind of have to get it down and kind of know what I'm doing. And then I shared it with my team and spent a lot of time training them on doing it, did contests about cold contacting. Like that's how they earned, entries. Once we started doing that, I feel like that's how we got the momentum to become an Emerald team. So I really feel like there's really something to that contacting, because I feel like it's the difference between, people just waiting for people to come to you and you going out to get people. I don't really like the word get, the verb, but you going out to find people and to be, really seeking out who could benefit from this. And I feel like you'll be pleasantly surprised if it's not something you've been doing, to really see that you'll spend some time planting seeds. It'll probably be a good solid couple weeks, maybe a month, that you're going to be doing this. But then people are going to start. You're going to have the people who like read the message and they don't reply, and you're like, really? You can't tell me no thank you? But they will start responding. I actually had a girl who last month was her first month ever to cold contact. She was terrified, like so scared. And she finally did it. She committed to herself at least one person every day, but most days she did 3, which is awesome, right? Because that's almost 100 people in a month. And she just messaged me like 3 days ago and was like, oh my gosh, I have 4 people signing up. Like, what? And that was amazing for her. And so it's really, this is a numbers game. We know that, right? We know that the more people that we can contact, the more people that we can share this opportunity with, the statistics say that people are going to respond. And so follow-up obviously is huge too. So spending time following up, because we also know that it's not until the 5th to 12th contact that people jump on it most of the time. And so she, if she follows up about once a week, that was right. So this is, if she was contacting these people all last month, and this is about in between about her 5th to 12th contact with them. So the statistics really do, they're true. We have to, be patient, unfortunately. But that's really my biggest tip, or my biggest tips, I guess, is that, really working on overcoming fear, not worrying about so much what people think, what we worry people will think, because they might not even be thinking that. And then also doing the cold contacting, which also requires overcoming fear, because it does put us in a very vulnerable place for rejection. But I feel like something I actually recently said to my mom just joined my team right before promoted to Emerald. So it took her that long to believe and to want to jump on board. And she was telling me, I don't do rejection well. I really don't. I'm like, well, the thing is, none of us do. But like, you can fail at something. This is something someone said at convention, and I heard it before, like a very similar quote, but you can fail at something you don't want. So you might as well take a chance, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what I kind of like was telling her, like, you don't like the job that you're in right now. You don't like the situation you're in right now. And so why not give this a go? And so that's something that I do coaching calls with my team, or with my runners anyway, not everyone on the team, but I ask them, are you happy with where you're at right now? And most of the time their answer is no, because we all want to grow. We all want to be able to build our teams and promote. And so that's the thing I would say, okay, what are we going to do to have you take action? What is the action plan? We talk about and I'll tell you the truth. The answer is always more activity. It might not necessarily mean quantity, but it might also mean quality, because I have, ambassadors who they're saying, I'm cold contacting every single day, I'm posting every single day, but I'm getting nothing. And I've been doing this for 2 months. Okay, well, we might need to tweak your posting. We might need to tweak your messages, right? And so it's not always about quantity. It can also be about quality. Are you sitting down and really writing heartfelt posts and messages? If the answer is no, then let's start there. So I feel like this is also a convention thing, but we know what we need to do. People know what they need to do. They just need to do it, right? And I know that's true for me. When I'm feeling discouraged in my business, when I'm feeling like I'm struggling, I know what I need to do. It's just saying, okay, I'm going to do it. You know, okay, my mom says this, it's not usually one of my phrases, but I do like, I'm going to put my big girl panties on and I'm going to do it. Right. That's what she always tells me, like playfully, but, I feel like I'm more, of a person who likes to respond to not to messages, to questions. So Amy, would it be okay if we like kind of allowed them, if they had questions to ask? Would that be okay?
Of course. Yeah. If you're okay with it, I have a question for you about what you're just chatting about when you were talking about following up. So you send your messages to somebody and they don't respond. So there's crickets and nobody's listening and you just go, So do you wait about a week and then contact them again? Or do you just leave it at they didn't respond to you, so you're not?
Okay, so if it's someone who's never ever contacted me about Plexus before, like it's one of those cold contacts that I'm contacting them and they have never liked a single thing, never said a single thing to me about Plexus. I typically wait until I have a good, like, either they've posted something on Facebook that could make me, kind of get back in there. And I'm a little bit of a stalker. I'm not going to lie. If they're on my list, you better believe I'm creeping on their page at least weekly, because I'm trying to figure out what I can do to know them better, right? And really know what their needs are. But also I'm looking for an opportunity to say, hey, like, I know I already sent you a message. I know I already told you on my heart, but when you said this, it made me think you really need this, or this is something that could really help your mom, or this is something, like people share a lot, and so it's looking for clues, looking for, things like that. So if they haven't even given a clue, no clue at all, I typically wait about a month and then I'll reach out to them again, but I have something to tell them. So this last month, we had a lot of great things to tell them. We got to tell them about the updated blog. We got to tell them about Edge. Before convention, I was told to message some folks, message any of my potentials and tell them I'm going to be contacting you after convention, because I know I'm going to be really excited. So you just be ready for the message. So that was kind of fun. Never have done that before, but people actually responded pretty well. They were like, okay. And then when I messaged them after convention, they were like, oh yeah, here's your message. You said you were going to message me. Looks like you had a great time. So it kind of made them creep me more while I was at conventions. It was kind of fun. But I typically, or if I'm running like a little special or a little incentive, I let them know. I'm like, hey, I know that I messaged you about this. You've still been on my heart. Offering this little incentive, would you let me share a little bit more with you? Are you open to that? Would you be open to it? If I could save you some money, if I could give you a discount, or something like that.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have questions? If you do, I can unmute you, or you can unmute yourself if you know how. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Who has questions? Anyone? I'm just so excited. I love everything that you were talking about tonight, and I feel like you really were just talking to me. So I know God sent you to this call for a reason, and I'm sure there are other people on here that are feeling the same way, because I have a really hard time. I struggle with fear. I struggle with what other people think of me. I struggle with a lot of things. So to be open and honest and real, that's awesome. But yeah, anyone else have any questions? Oh, Emily does. Go for it, Emily.
I just want to say thanks for the tip about leading with the business and telling us how to write our story. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really, Leslie Zan, she is awesome. If you don't follow her on Facebook, she has like a page that you can like. I feel like she has really great stuff.
Can you spell her name?
Leslie, Leslie, and then last name is Zan, Zann. And she goes on, she does a lot of things for Plexus. Like, there's a lot of Plexus folks who follow her. And so she'll go different places and do like training events and stuff like that too. So it's really, really awesome.
Cool. Thanks. That's great. I know I've heard of her, but I've never actually followed her. So that's good to know too.
She's really great. I like her. She's very spunky,
okay.
Very bold, but also very, very humble. And so I really like that about her. She has a lot of great qualities. When you mentioned that you are someone who struggles with fear, I was going to tell you too. There's a book that I just love. It's called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, and it is so good. I feel like it really helps you kind of get to the root of like fears and what other people think, and being willing to step out, but not because your business requires you, but because it's being courageous. It's being, it's doing something that's awesome. Like one of the quotes, I literally have it like taped to my computer screen. It says, "Success and recognition and approval are not the values that drive me. My value is courage, and I was just courageous." So,
it's awesome.
yeah. So she has a really good, she's written several books, but she's really great too. So, I feel like that's a good one, to read if you feel like you need that personal growth time.
Right.
It's a really great one.
Cool. That sounds really good. I will definitely look into that. All right. Who else? Anyone else have any questions? Just either unmute yourself or raise your hand or whatever.
I have a little question.
All right. Go ahead, Jen.
Allie, you said you were a wholesale ambassador for about 5 months before you decided to do the business. I have some on my team that are just getting their products at wholesale, but they were like on my dream team list. I know that if you work the business, like they're going to do amazing. Do you have anything I could say or do? Should I just wait for them till they're ready, or what could I do to prompt them to get started?
So that's tough because I feel like it kind of depends on how they feel about the business. And it depends on them, you know. Gosh, I feel like I can tell you kind of where my mindset was at, and maybe that will help. But basically, during those 5 months, I was very supportive of my friend who was working the business. I was like, "You're doing great. Like, I'm super happy for you. I think this is awesome. I just don't think it's for me." So I never had like, even though I thought she was kind of a little bit crazy, I wasn't ever turned off by it. Like if we'd go to lunch and stuff, I'd be like, "So tell me about your Plexus business." And she added me to all the team pages. Like I was like in 5, you know, so I felt like I was very aware of Plexus, and I was comfortable with talking about it. I thought it was cool when people were ranking up and earning bonuses and everything. So I was never turned off by it. I think some wholesalers are like, "I want nothing to do with that," right? So I think it kind of depends on their perspective. But she just kept, she didn't ever like, "Allie, you need to be posting," or, "Oh, you know," and I was having results, like I was losing weight. She wasn't like, "Gosh, you need to tell people." She never got frustrated with me. And I think that that's really the key is, she just would bring up, "How's it going with Plexus? Oh, this, and she would like make a point to tell me like, "I'm going over and I'm going to go to this person's house. I'm going to go do this opportunity event. Do you want to come? Like, it'd be fun. We like to hang out." But I just kept declining. And then, I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. I think I felt like she was having a lot of fun. Like I really do. Like it was my results, and I felt very convicted to share. But then I was like, she's part of a really cool community too. Like I want those friends too. Those people look like they really love life and they're enjoying life. And who doesn't want more positive people in their life? So are your wholesalers in the team pages and stuff?
They are, and they saw the fun. Like one of them already commented on Vegas and the pictures from conventions.
Yes.
I'm like, that's what motivates her. So I told her next year she needs to go. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, like I think it's like figuring out what gets people excited. So she was like specifically like, "Oh, that looks like a lot of fun." Like maybe specifically planning an event with your team, like maybe like a team dinner where it's not really Plexus training or anything. It's just and invite her. Be like, we're not going to be like training on anything. We're just going to dinner, and it'd be a great opportunity for you to meet some Plexus folks and have some fun with us. Like that might be kind of a strategic way, especially since she's on your dream team, or on your dream team list, to get her like a little more acquainted with people. I think that helped too. I was very fortunate that my upline and her, she's our sideline, but I already knew her as well. And they both we're doing business together and hosting these meetings together and doing all these things together. And I feel like it helped that was like kind of third party validation, because I knew this person too, and they were both having so much fun and enjoying it and being successful that really, I was like, oh, it's not just like this one person with this one kind of personality being successful. I like saw this other girl, So I think it really helps them when they get to meet other Plexus people, and see like, okay, it's not just this is my one friend. Sorry, I just like smacked my desk, but it's not just this one person that I know that is doing well with this or excited about this. That third party validation is huge.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Definitely. All right. Anybody else have questions for Miss Allie? I'm just so happy that she came on our call tonight. She's been awesome, and it's been such conversation. Anyone else have a question?
I do. I have a question.
All right.
So when you first sign someone, what is your method of, so you get them signed up, they're like, yep, I want to become an ambassador. They sign up. What do you do after that?
Like our onboarding process?
Yeah. Like, what do you do? Like the next day, during that week, like what kind of training, what do you send them?
So we, okay, so kind of, we kind of call it the onboarding process, but our onboarding process starts before they sign up. So once they say like, yes, I want to be an ambassador, I get them on the phone. They don't sign up without being on the phone. I mean, occasionally, like, cause you have those people who like want to sign up at like 11 o'clock at night and they're like, my kid's sleeping next to me, I can't be on the phone. But like 95% of the time, get them on the phone, because that keeps errors down, right? They can't accidentally join as a customer when you're on the phone with them. I feel like you get to capture that excitement. So in the moment when they're clicking join and they're like, and I literally stay on the phone with them, like I'm like quiet while they're typing in their credit card information or whatever. Sometimes people give me, like they want me to do it for them, so I just have them on the phone, I'm not writing it down, I'm just putting it straight in, So that kind of helps. I feel like sometimes people don't want to, like, they want to sign up, but they don't have like the time to do it, but they'll tell you, they'll like take the time to tell you over the phone, but they don't want to sit at the computer or something. So I always get them on the phone, and that's kind of where the onboarding process starts. So the second, when they're choosing their backup order, I'm taking the time to explain to them what it is, so they're not afraid of it, right? They know what it is, they know what it's for. When they're done, we talk about most of the time, most of my ambassadors or customers get Triplex combo. That's really what we push on my team for them to get Triplex. So go ahead and I talk to them about water intake. I talk to them about the 60-day minimum commitment, which we already talked about before they sign up. That's kind of something that we train on my team too, is to make sure that before they're joining the team, they know that it's a 60-day minimum commitment. Like they have to give the products at least 60 days, or we push them to the customer route. That I remind them, hey, the reason why remember we talked about that 60-day commitment. And the reason why is because we have something called die-off symptoms, right? We have detoxing. And I use that word detoxing because people are way more familiar with detoxing than they are like die-off or whatever. So I say, you have to consider that, your gut's getting healthy. Your body is taking all that junk that's in there and trying to flush it out. So you can imagine you're probably going to have some detox symptoms. And how you can prevent some of that or make some of it better is by drinking a lot of water. So set them up on that water conversation. So it's getting them, like, as far as, products go, ready. And then we kind of have this whole thing, what are your questions? Okay, let me know when your products come in. And then at the end of the conversation, I say, I do have a question for you. And this came from something Amy was on, I think, as well. It's something Chris McCall said. This is what their team does. They say, if I could teach you, or if I could show you how to get your products paid for, would you want me to teach you? Mm-hmm. And so then they either say yes or no. And a lot of times I feel like the most common answer is like, well, yeah, that would be really great, but I feel like I want to try the products first. I need to see how they work for me. So this is where like the boldness comes in, and I say to them, well, the products work. That's why you're buying them. And they like, wait. And I'm like, no, you do. Like, you are telling me these products are going to work for you. That's why you purchase them. So if you have true intentions of wanting to get your products paid for, pace is so important. And let me tell you why. If you want to get your products paid for, you don't have to go as fast as, you don't have to go super fast, but you want, as much as you want that health testimony, you're telling me you want a health testimony to tell people because you think that's going to be appealing to them. Don't you want a business testimony too? Because then that hits an even bigger audience. And so then they typically are like, okay, what do you mean by that? I'm like, okay, in your first 30 days, what if you were able to add 3 people to your team? What if you were able to add 10? What if you were able to add 20 people to your team? That is a business testimony. So then you would have your health testimony to share with people and your business testimony. Do you want to do that? And most of the time people say yes, right? Now, not everyone can fast start. I'm just going to be honest. Like, even when you present it that way, they're not ready all the time, but it's planting the seed. So then once we get off the phone, if they say yes, if they're real pumped up, the next day or within the next 48 hours, we schedule a time to Zoom about their business plan, how many people they need to be contacting. We make them get their first post. We talk to them about, how to kind of start branding themselves, those kind of things. If there's someone who says, no, I'm really not interested in promoting the products, I really just want to be a wholesaler, I want to just take the products, then I also schedule up a follow-up call with them in 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks typically, just kind of depending on scheduling. But within the first 3 weeks, they're on their products to talk to them on the phone again. Go ahead and add them to the team pages, welcome them in, try to get them. We have Monday night new ambassador training calls, try to get them on a new ambassador training call because we go over all the products. And that's what I tell them. I said, you just bought 3 products. That's it. We have 16, right? Now we have 16. Usually it was 15 or whatever. But now we have more products, and I want you to be able to hear about all of them. I want you to know what they are because you might be able to benefit from some of the other ones. Or when you hear about a product, you might think of somebody that you know, and they could be, we can help them too. And so that's kind of planting the seed for the business without being covert about it. But try to get them on the call. And then I just follow up as if they're a customer. I'm like, let me know when you get your products. Talk to them about, send them the little purple graphic that went around for a while about how to take the triplex. Send them that. I check in with them as if they're a customer, if they just want to be a wholesaler. I know that was a really long-winded question. I'm sorry.
No, it's awesome. I'm writing as fast as I can.
I know. That was an awesome answer. I'm like, I'm glad we're recording because I'm writing as fast as I can too. So.
Oh, right. I forgot it was recorded.
No, it's all good.
Good.
All right. Any other questions? I know it's getting late and I don't want poor Allie to have to be on the phone forever, or on the Zoom call forever. But if anybody has any other questions, anyone? We don't want to cut it short if you have a question. All right. Well, Allie, your information is seriously so beneficial, and we are so grateful that you came on. I am going to unmute people because it kind of drives me crazy when I can't hear people agreeing. But no, we are so grateful that you came on and took the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allie.
Amy, do you have time for one more question?
One more question. Do you have time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well then let me mute you guys again because... Hang on. All right. I don't know who asked the one more question.
It was somebody on the phone.
Oh, it was a phone?
I think so. I think the phone popped up.
Okay.
Maybe the 510 number.
Yeah. Wasn't it Sandra?
I don't know. Here, I'm going to try to unmute the phone. All right. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, there we go. It's Alyssa.
Oh, hi, Alyssa.
Hi. I was just wondering, what's just kind of some of the wording that you use when you address the backup order? Whenever I walk through somebody new, I don't put it as an option. I just state it as you have to select a backup order. But I don't know. I've been having more people on the team come up with people who are, not having that backup order be worth over 100. Even if they're selecting one when they're joining, it's like, $79.95 or 98 or something. But it's just based on what product they're using, and I'm just whatever I'm saying must not be connecting. So I'm just wondering what kind of verbiage you use for communicating about that you have to select a backup order kind of a thing.
Okay, so the way that I present it when I'm on the phone with the new person signing up is I just tell them it's an auto shipment. That's what I tell them. I'm like, we're not going to worry about this too much until you are getting customers, because then because we know once they get a customer, then the backup order won't ship, and then it's not really an auto shipment. But I tell them, for your purposes right now, because you don't have any customers, this is an auto shipment. And remember, you committed to the 60 days. You told me that you're willing to stick it out for at least 60 days on these products. And so this is your commitment. This is you're putting it in here. And I tell them, if you want to add products into it, if you want to, change it up with some other products, if you want to try something else next month, that's completely fine. But this stays on. And they usually, I feel like the more that you drill on it, it brings more attention to it. So it's kind of like quick. I'm like, okay, this is your auto ship order. Select the product. Since you're ordering the triplex, go ahead and make it the triplex. Let's go ahead and click that right now.
What if the product that they're wanting to take themselves is not over 100 PB though?
What do you mean?
Like what if they're only wanting slim for themselves?
They're not an ambassador. I put them as a customer.
Right, because they're not going to earn any money that way anyway, and they're not going to really get that great of a discount, so I would keep them as a customer too.
Right, and how I present that to my team, because that has come.
Uh-oh.
What's the issue? And so I'm just kind of honest with them. I'm like, listen, like you have a business, right? And if you walked into any business, any store, no one would expect, you would not expect to get anything for free. Like the help that you get, if you walk up to a restaurant, you expect to be helped, and you know you have to do the right thing. Like someone's going to be compensated. And so when someone wants to join as an ambassador but will not hit 100 PV, like they just want a bag of Slim, I tell my team, you need to be honest with that person and say, hey, if you're not hitting 100 PV every month, you're not hitting that $100 mark. Your discount, you're paying $35, initially, and it's going to take you a while to get that money back first. But then secondly, I literally earn no money when you do that. And it's not a money thing. I'm not doing this for the money, but I want you to understand I would be literally working for you for free. I'm going to be supporting you. I'm going to give you my help and my encouragement, but I literally get $0 when you do that. And people usually are like, oh, well, I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. Because they know this is a business. They know that, like, you're going to put in your time and effort to help them, that you should get a little, that's just how this works. You get a little something, but if they're not hitting that 100 PV mark, you literally get $0. So, you can kind of figure out how you want to phrase it, but that has gone over well.
That's a huge help. But basically, like, if they're not going to be over 100, then wholesale is not an option for them,
right.
Pretty much. But actually taking the time to explain to them that this is my business and I don't get paid when you do that, is actually, I think, really valuable. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, no, that's great. I know for some folks that's a little nerve-wracking because you're like telling them, like, I'm not going to do this for free, but I think most people understand, like, no one really wants to work for free, and so just, being really genuine about it, but being honest, usually people are like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. So, and then, they can do preferred and they're still going to get a great discount. So that's what I typically tell them. And if they really want the wholesale route, then I'm like, okay, well then we need to add some more products to your order. That's what we need to do. That's the option. So.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Miss Allie. Anyone else have any last questions? Quick. No? All right. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. You are so, seriously, like I could listen to you all day long and I could write notes all day long.
You're so sweet. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to keep bugging you and asking you questions and whatever. So it's good. But I need to tell my team that this is Allie. I met her on the Emerald Rockstar page because I tell them all about the Emerald Rockstar page all the time.
Awesome.
I'm like, we have calls and we meet friends and it's so awesome. And so they can't wait to all get there too. So you'll meet awesome friends like Allie who are so helpful and so smart. Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you. Thank you all so much for having me on. It was so much fun. I love to see people. It's just so exciting.
Thank you so much. I am going to stop recording. Let's see.